In Education Matters, from state takeover talks to a new lawsuit filed against Memphis-Shelby County Schools by former Superintendent Marie Fagans, all eyes remain on Tennessee's largest school district. Joining us now to talk more about the current state of the district is former school board chair Althea Greene. Dr. Greene, welcome back to 3 at 3. Always good to see you.
Always a pleasure to be here with you.
My pleasure. Before we get into MSCS, I do want to get your thoughts on the passing of Pastor Steve Gaines.
I think heaven gained a beautiful angel. Pastor Gaines lived the life that he preached about. I love the fact that Bellevue Baptist had so many ministries going on throughout the city. Just driving down the interstate and I would pass those 3 crosses up there would always make me stop and reflect on what ministry was all about. And so my prayers is with First Lady Donna. My prayers are with the Bellevue Baptist Church family. But you know, he lived the life that he preached about. And heaven is rejoicing.
Thank you for sharing that with us, for sure. As we transition now into Memphis-Shelby County Schools, some people might say the district needs divine intervention itself now more so than ever. What's going on there? What are you hearing?
I think what we watched happen at that special call meeting the other day, I think people were a little confused, Alex, about what was going on. And I would have to be very honest to say that if the communication department had done their job and released a statement to explain what was going on, I don't think we would have so many narratives going on in the community. Because
we're talking about the contract involving Dr. Richmond. We're talking about his title going back to being interim. And then we're also talking about the proposal to avert a state takeover that went back to a committee.
That was all interesting. So I would say this. People were saying, well, why would they vote to give him a job and then take it back? I mean, that's how people are viewing this. And I think step 1 had to happen before we could go to step 2. So they voted 9-0, you're right, to offer him the job as the superintendent. But they gave the board attorney a job to go and work on contract negotiations. And so what happened was they came back for contract negotiations. If I was board chair, I probably would have been trying to be on top of how that was really going to go rather than it playing out. And so, but I do understand the board wanting to take time to make sure that that contract is correct, making sure correct terminology. You know, I would have to give myself kudos because as the former board chair, I realized that contracts were just not really changing, but we were just changing names. And my take on that was that the district needed to focus on student achievement and putting money back into schools and not paying contracts. And so that's why I put that in there, that if a superintendent was terminated, it didn't have anything to do with gender, period, that the district would not have to pay out any money.
But what about that alternative takeover proposal that came out recently as well? And again, that went back to square one.
I didn't understand that because I personally believe before I would have had a press conference, I would have had a meeting with the people in Nashville. It should have started with them sitting down and going over that proposal and introducing it to them and bringing back feedback. Then we go to step 2, getting the community's buy-in.
Because it was an interesting news conference a couple of weeks ago. There were a couple of dozen folks there.
Right.
The superintendent was not there that day. I think he was on a retreat or something that was said, but it was very interesting how that came about.
I agree with you. It was very interesting. It was very interesting to see so many people come to stand when they should be standing all alone. It is all of our responsibility to be a part of what happens with the children in this district. All I can say is we've got to stop going to step 2 and bypassing step 1. And so I really want to see the board do a better job. Perhaps instead of all of the communication going on publicly, maybe an executive session should have been stopped and held.
As I listen to you here, does this unfortunately or perhaps pave the way for that state takeover that we've been hearing so much about?
That intervention is going to come anyway. But I applaud the board for being cautious enough to say we've got an audit that's coming, perhaps a state intervention. And you wanted to make sure about those terms in that contract. You don't want to give a contract to somebody. And so I support them, Alex, in hitting the brakes and being cautious because what we do know is an intervention is coming and it's needed.
Because I heard from Representative Mark White yesterday. I had a chance to talk with him, and he says what's in that audit, he's seen it, it is pretty ugly, and it has to be fixed.
We have to correct. We do a corrective plan of action for anything that's wrong. And so I agree with Representative White. Whatever is wrong, we need a corrective plan of action, and we need to fix it so that we do not, as a school district, continue to make the same mistakes.
Is it too late, though, Bishop, that everybody can get on the same team here in Memphis and also work with the folks, these state lawmakers as well? Is that asking for too much, too late?
I think you're dreaming. I think what's going to happen is going to happen. But I think for us as a community, how do we support state intervention? How do we support it? How do we educate the community? Because intervention is needed. If intervention means putting more dollars into deferred maintenance, putting more dollars into how we educate children and provide them with resources, let's do it.
One last thing here, and all this kind of started with the firing of Dr. Marie Fagans, and of course she has filed a new lawsuit alleging gender discrimination and retaliation. Your thoughts? My
thoughts is that, how many lawsuits have we had? Wait. How many attorneys? I'm just being funny right now. Just got to crack a joke to just, Alex, what we have to understand is there is a difference between resignation, retirement, and termination. And when you look at what happened, we have to respect all of those contracts were different. That one contract said, hey, I will get my servant's pay. Another contract, there were no findings with Dr. Barker. There was no findings. He retired.
So you don't think she was treated unfairly?
No, because the contract, the new contract was not sex. It had nothing to do with gender bias. It was a contract, and a contract is a legal binding document.
Althea Greene, always good to see you.
Good to be here.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.